lads, and welcome to a special episode of the Harsh Vocals Podcast. Today, we are joined by the one and only Brendon Small, creator of Metalocalypse, creator of home movies, and a variety of other things that we're huge fans of. Welcome to the show, Brendon.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
Thank you for taking the time to join us on your busy Thursday.
Yeah, I'm going through a lot of fun interviews, and I just got to hang out with Johan from Amon Amarth, and we did a lot of just talking shop. It was really fun.
Oh, that's cool. Speaking of Amon Amarth, you guys have a tour coming up. The Death Clock Amon Amarth traveling all over the U.S. I'm hoping to see you guys when you hit Houston. This will be my 5th time to see Death Clock live, so very excited about that.
Very cool. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. We're very excited to be launching the Amon Clock Conquest. It's a long time coming. I love Amon Amarth, and I think they really embody both outstanding music, really well-written stuff that's really cool and heavy and melodic, and then their theatricality on stage is something else that's really exciting too. So we deliver a very theatrical, completely animated show that where we're playing to picture. So the whole feeling is like it starts to feel like a big magic trick that happens when we really just lock into the picture. And that's the whole idea, is there's no wiggle room. We've got to just completely play 100% in lockstep with the picture, and it's a really fun thing. So it's good to see that Amon Amarth is, it's just really cool to be sharing the stage with those guys, and Castle Rat at the same time, who delivers also a very theatrical kind of show as well.
I've never seen Castle Rat live, but I've heard great things.
Yeah, we're blowing up right now, so it's pretty cool.
Speaking of your animated performance with Death Clock when you tour, I have, as I mentioned to you, seen you guys live several times. Has the storyline that goes along with the animations changed considerably since Army of the Doomstar came out, or is there, how are you incorporating the changes in the storyline?
We do observe certain things from Army of the Doomstar, but it really is like a celebration of the entire oeuvre of Metalocalypse, from the first record till now to the Doomstar Requiem and all that stuff too. So we try to acknowledge every single era. And in fact, on this one, the idea is, how do you maintain the kind of structure, but be able to switch out the parts inside? Because it's animated. And if we want to do a new song, we have to get financing and pay animators and get a whole team of designers and people. So I'm talking to those people right now, and Gene and I sit there and we talk about what the set list should be, what really constitutes a good live song. Because I've seen so many bands where they play some stuff that's just not live tempo stuff. So we always want to make sure that the energy is just completely there, which is a really good challenge for us as players to keep up that intensity for the duration of that show. So what we have is some stuff that you've never seen us play live before on this one, some new little tiny pieces of fun, of comedy and stuff. And we just try to keep it fresh while we're observing, what really does work on the show anyway. So there's some things I think we owe it to the audience to play each time, some things that are more the bigger hits and some bigger crowd pleaser things, while really observing the deep cuts, the really deep cuts that some people may be going I forgot that this song existed with them, but it's a really, really cool song. And it's nice to shine a light on some of that stuff too. So that's what we're trying to do. It's very different than any other band. We really have to get a lot of stuff prepared long before we go out. We can't just throw a set list on the ground and say, hey, let's just learn this and do it. You have to really prepare and spend all kinds of stuff.
Do you ever see a time where this could just be a band and not a complete show?
No, I don't. Not personally, because I think the thing that makes this fun, this live show, is that we don't look anything like Death Clock, but we sound exactly like them as it holds up. Yeah. And I think that's a fun thing. I've said this many times before. I am bad for the brand. You don't need to be looking at me. You need to be listening to me. You know what I mean? And I really think that, because I think the fun part about this project is that we are playing the picture and we're doing something a lot of bands aren't doing, and we entertain on a completely different level, and also bring the brutality at the same time, and just the crazy chops. Having Gene Hoglan behind me is a ridiculous. I'm in one of the coolest seats in the house, on stage playing with that guy and watching our audience, who is really, seriously, we get so spoiled by having the most excited audience in the world. I have the best seat in the house, and I don't want to change too much about it. It's possible It's possible that we could play without it, but I don't think it's as exciting, really. I think I'm right.
I can see that.
Nice
There's
to
a
agree.
lot going on. There's a lot going on in those shows. Yeah.
So are you and Amon Amarth co-headlining, or are you going to be alternating who headlines each night, or what's that?
I think we may be committing to something, but it is a co-headliner, so no one person is really like closing out for the other person, like technically, theoretically. There are a lot of advantages to being the opening slot, and there are a lot of advantages to being the closing slot. Opening slot, you get your job done early. Oh, you're all done for the night. Oh, it's wonderful. Closing slot, you get to like just keep the energy going, and just both of those slots are great. And the great thing is, even with like when we toured with Baby Metal, it's a really fun challenge to go, okay, these are just super hot shot bands that are with great players. Let's just keep it exciting. Let's just keep trying to like, let's keep the competition happening while also just like really appreciating their audience at the same time.
You mentioned your fans. When you are doing these performances, obviously you get to see the whole crowd and everything. I have seen personally people show up in like the full Clocketeer outfit to your shows.
Yep.
What's the craziest thing you've ever seen anybody do?
Oh man. I mean, what I'm noticing is the show continues to live in people's heads as they start going into like different characters that I've never seen people, because I'd see Dr. Roxos. I'd see the male Dr. Roxos, the female Dr. Roxos, and several of them seeing each other from like different quadrants of the room. And that's like that Spider-Man meme. But like they're all there. And it's really funny, and they usually stay in character all night long. But I see like deeper cut characters like Dr. Twinkletits, or I've seen like Charles, like in different states, like the business Charles Oftenson, or the Army of the Doomstar Charles Oftenson, the kind of in a cloak. And yeah, but it is crazy. I mean, the real show to me is in the audience. Like I am watching a total show because they're moshing, they're excited. Some of them, it's their first metal show. And we can get distracted. And so the idea is to really try to, I have so much I'm thinking about on stage just to get the vocals and the rhythm and the lead stuff all together that I have to observe and keep my focus really close to me, because I will get distracted because it is so much fun to watch them.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
The crazy thing is, though, that metalheads in general are way more fun and empathetic and we listen to the most brutal fucking music. And so it's that dichotomy between the two. Some of the nicest people I've ever met were metalheads.
I completely agree. Yeah. You're right.
I think that's why Metalocalypse works so well, because it's so over the top brutal. And then it's really not that. So,
and then I get to sneak in so many little themes inside of the music that I think are like, where you do have that sweet spot of total brutality and emotion and empathy and all that stuff. And I see it in the faces of the audience. And that's the greatest thing about our shows is I think it's just these crowds that are just so excited to be there, that know the music really well, or that are just experiencing something. Honestly, I look up at some point in like one part of the show and I see people just like looking beyond me and just like they've been hypnotized by the animation, by the lights, by the music, by the sonic barrage and all that stuff. And I think, well, it's nice to have empathy and everything, but now that you're hypnotized, this is where I want you. This is where I want you to be. I want to drill into your pineal gland and live in your subterranean mind. And the next time you'll see me will be in a dream state.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I go to shows all the time. I love going to see big, crazy theatrical shows, but when I'm watching a show, I'm watching the show and I'm watching the audience, and I'm watching the show and I'm watching the audience. And my goal is to like keep the audience engaged the whole time. So like, if you have to go to the bathroom, I'm sorry, you should hold it and watch the show and just keep watching. We're not going to let you let up at all. We're going to like really like give you a real workout.
You can still be surprised, because I'm 56 years old. So I'm the old guy on this show. And this couple of months ago, I saw Black Braid, Nazareth, and Lamp of Murmur live. And it's in my top 5 shows ever. Even after, 40 years of listening to this. It's just an amazing show.
That's awesome. I mean, that's what's great about live music, and just whoever's got the energy to really put it together, to really just like want to showcase and to impress. That's the fun thing about heavy metal. I mean, we cannot wait to show our show to people. We can't wait to show it. We like it so much. We really, really are like, can't wait for you guys to see it. That's the feeling.
The thing that I like best about Death Clock is that it's more than just comedy. I think the reason this works is Death Clock is a legit good band. How important was that for you to make sure that this was legit good music and not just comedy?
That's a good question. I think it was the same kind of thing when we were thinking about home movies. We're like, how can we make this good on terms that we think are interesting, that keep us excited about it? How can we keep like saying yes to the right stuff and no to the wrong stuff? And Death Clock is like, I know I have to make this funny. I think that's part of just making it's fun to entertain in just like in terms of comedy, because it's jokes and merit based. You get a laugh if you do a thing. That's really great. It means it's working. You can just always tell it's working. But I also thought, here I am. I'm a musician. I went to music school. I studied music. I sat over guitar and learned all my scales. I watched the Yngwie videos. I watched Paul Gilbert videos. I had all the instructional videos. I was very, very engaged and interested. And I just thought, this is my only shot to actually make music. And I know it's going to be under the guise of comedy, but I don't care. I really don't care. I want to make something that excites my ears, because I'm the first audience for all this stuff. So I also think it's a colossal waste of time to write music that is boring and doesn't do anything. And I think like between a topic and a riff and an energy and some harmony and some melody, that's where the sweet stuff is, I think, the concepts. Yeah. And also I love the idea that we're in this cross section of, do I take the music seriously or don't I? And I like that I put people in that confusing place. A lot of art is like, this was such a small show with a very small group of people working on it. And we all collaborated together really well, but we all had these little miniature ethos that we wanted to like drag across the finish line. And the idea of creating the ultimate job for myself, where I get to be funny and I get to play my guitar and do sweep arpeggios, was like, can I think of a better job? And then I get to go on stage, and not only I get to like be a shadow on stage, but also be the front man on stage. And for me, it's the perfect cross section of art.
With Death Clock and the Death album specifically, I feel like Death Album 1 was a lot more comedy centric. And then as you've gone forward, Death Album 4 is a lot more just killer riffs throughout the whole thing. Was that intentional, or do you think that was just a natural progression that occurred?
I mean, I think I owe it to like on each record to have things that I think that represent comedy. And then I think on this Death Album 4 kind of broke a few rules, in that I think some of these things were subterranean thoughts that lived inside of the story of Army of the Doomstar. And then I've got songs about like food poisoning and like a dog's point of view song, and weird fucked up shit. It's like silly, weird things that I think are Bloodbath, which is just like another song that's just got its own total thing. But I also think it's important for me to deliver the riff, to deliver a song that's worth listening to. It's that simple, where I go, like I listen to a song, or I'll listen to a collection of riffs and go, this is the riff. And now from me going from this point to that point, do I have your attention? Do I have the listener's attention? And in the process that I write, I'm just constantly asking those same questions. Is this interesting? Do I earn a moment that makes you go, oh, fuck, that's cool? Like, hopefully I'm doing that. Even if it did itty song, in topic or nature.
That actually brings up another question. Your guitar playing evolved a lot as the show Metalocalypse progressed.
Yeah.
Did the Death Clock push you to level up your guitar playing?
Definitely, I think it did. Plus, I just want to be a better guitar player all the time. And live playing is crazy. Every guitar player goes through ebbs and flows. I'm getting better. I'm plateauing. I've gotten worse. I don't know how that happened, but now I got to get back up on, So all that stuff happens as a guitar player. I love the relationship I have with guitar. It's something that I'll have forever. And by the way, even if I never had Metalocalypse, I'd still be playing my guitar like crazy. The first album was basically, I ran out of like, you can tell that I listened to like Paul Gilbert, and I had three ideas and everything, and they're pretty fast and they're pretty crazy, and I still have to like maintain all of that. So I have to have my picking happening all the time, constantly working on it. But then I realized I have to, once I kind of ran out of licks, halfway through the first Death album, I realized that all I've got is now my ears and melody. And then like, what other techniques can I develop? Can I develop my legato a little bit better? Can I develop my kind of like string skipping stuff? And so now I'm in a place where I have like pulled my guitar playing apart and cleaned the engine and put it back together this year to get a very, just to constantly know that there's more live playing in my life. I even took a lesson from Jason Richardson, who toured with us on the Baby Metal tour. And he is just a ridiculous shredder who is also super creative, super smart, and has a really great philosophy. So it's almost like a golfer, like the golf pro saying, like, I'm going to watch your swing and give you some critique. So it was really helpful. I had him do that earlier this year. It was really, really super helpful. And I slowly started to remember all the things that made me play better over the years. And so I practice all the time. In between these interviews, I sit there and I just turn on my metronome and I run scale, and I go very aware of my posture, very aware of like the lightness of playing, like super light, super light. And I'm constantly watching my favorite players and just watching them and analyzing their right hand all the time. So it's a long journey. I love it. I love guitar. And when I play for myself, I'm learning like nerdy fusion stuff too, because I also love Alan Holdsworth and I love Jeff Beck and I love all these other guitar players. So I'll forever be a student of the guitar. I love it.
That's awesome.
You a fan of Greg Howe at all?
Yeah, Greg Howe's nuts. Insane. Yeah. He was super fusion, dude. Yeah.
While you were talking, I was just thinking of that album that he was on with Vitaly Kupri, the keyboardist, High Definition. Dear Lord, is that album good. But just everything you were talking about is on that album. So
yeah. He inspired tons of modern guitar players, I think. Greg Howe did. Yeah. He is great. I've gotten to meet him before.
Oh,
and he is, just
so talented.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I love hanging out with guitar players that are better than me. I actually was in a situation with Steve Vai and Joe Satriani not too long ago. And we were talking about all this stuff, about just like kind of like being in a meditative state when you're playing and relaxing and loosening up. And Steve Vai was talking to me about his posture. And I was like, oh man, I'm so glad he told me all this stuff. It was just you hear about like how he carries himself and what his mental state is on stage. And Joe Satriani too, talking about our right hands. We're talking about all that stuff.
I would be scared to pick up a guitar amongst those two.
Fine, and I have done that before. It's terrifying.
Well, circling back to the statement you made before about how this show might be somebody's first exposure to metal or the first metal concert, what is that like for you? Because Metalocalypse has been around for a decade or longer now, and there has to be tons of people that was their intro to metal. You guys are definitely a gateway for people to discover more extreme metal and develop a love for it. Have you heard that from a lot of fans? Is that really like a lot of people's starting point?
I have heard that, and it's a really nice feeling. But I also know what it feels like to be the receiver of being introduced into the world of heavy metal. Because I had a friend, and who's still my good friend, who I'll see next week, who like one day after school, after the bus, we walked up to his house, and he's like, "Do you know Metallica? Do you know Slayer? Do you know this? Do you know that?" And I'm like, "I've heard of them all, but I didn't know." I was like 13, 14. And one day he opened my eyes to everything, to Iron Maiden, to like everything from like classic rock to like, he'd play, like put on the record and I listened to Led Zeppelin 4 and I was like, oh, that's what they're talking about. Oh my God, it's great. And then like Blue Oyster Cult and then King Diamond's Them and then this and that and the next thing and Yngwie Malmsteen and the whole, just like everything. And I was just like, the guy opened up the door to a new world and I never went back. I stayed in that place the whole time and I thought I can't believe that people are missing out on this, because there's so, with my personality, whatever my like ADD, OCD cocktail is, whatever makes us creative and thoughtful and lean in deep on stuff, he ignited that. And I thought Metalocalypse is that show for people, because I think it's, in my mind, I thought it's for me when I was 14 and discovering heavy music. and what a cool world it is, and how fun it is to be macabre and dark, and to have gallows humor, and to have and Monty Python, like all that stuff watered into like what I was in Spinal Tap, and all the shit that my young teenage brain was experiencing for the first time. I couldn't believe it. It was just, my brain was on fire with how much exciting, cool creativity there was in the world. So if we pass any of that on, then that's the ultimate. I know what that gift feels like to receive. If they got that out of it, then I'm the happiest person in the world that they got something out of it.
Yeah.
I love that approach. Yeah. I think everybody I know that's a huge metal fan, Metalocalypse was not our first exposure to it, but we've all immediately fell in love with it from the beginning. And, you know, it's definitely rooted itself as a tent pole in like the metal environment of today. You know, jokes and references, and it's just such a force of nature.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. Again, there's no competition. We're the only one that exists, so it's nice. There's no other heavy metal cartoon thing that's out there that got to be kind of somewhat pop culture. But ultimately, you know, it got to be about heavy metal. The conversation was about celebrityism and about America in a lot of ways, and it was like through that it gets to be about the cool stuff. I get to have jokes about guitars. I get to have Squisguard constantly working on his 3-note per string, picking lick stuff, you know, his Paul Gilbert, Al Di Meola stuff. And so yeah, it was fun to have like this kind of, again, like this kind of therapeutic rage therapy as a job. Yeah, what a fun experience.
Before we let you go, what would you say is the biggest pain in the ass Death Clock song to play live?
Oh man, there's some that are just like, it's easy to go into a studio and punch in several times and keep your right hand moving, but like there's some things that are like, there's a part and we keep this song in the set because it's so brutal all the time, but Death Support is a song that is like just like it's this it's in 5, like and it's just it's perpetual downstroke motion, and it's me singing and playing and also going, hey, dude, relax. Remember, take it easy. You're not going to make it to the end of the song if you don't light some point. And your muscles want to like tense up and everything. You got to go, no. Light hand, easy. So it's the thing that, you know, on our first day of rehearsal, we never have it nailed. But once we get on stage, we're like, okay, muscle through it. You're going to be tired by the end. And then slowly throughout the tour, you'll be like, okay, I'm making peace with it. I'm making my way through it. But that perpetual motion downstroke, just like what thrash guitar is to me, is just like what makes Slayer and all that stuff, just nonstop pummeling on your right hand. And I have like plenty of moments where I'm vocalizing and having to like go back and forth where I'm like, why did I do this? Why didn't I try this out live first? But it challenges me all the time. And like I keep saying, doing this show is like just such a great reason. It's such a great challenge and a great reason to be challenged, because at the end result, if we do this all right, we perform this glorious magic trick that makes everybody smile. Yep. And it's really fun. And you can be brutal, and it's being like a tough guy and emotional and brutal and all that stuff at the same time, but it's just entertainment.
Yeah, it's got to be hard switching between the voices and being able to play and being able to sing in Nathan's voice and do all that.
I've learned a lot over the years, and I've found ways to like all the techniques that people talk about, from like breathing from your what do you call it?
Diaphragm.
The diaphragm.
And then lightening up all the rules that people talk about over the years. You realize, even though I've been playing guitar my whole life, the majority of my life, I still have to go back to these simple rules, and they're rules for a reason, so that you posture playing. And then again, we're playing in the dark, and I have to cross my eyes through a microphone to see my fretboard, and I have little glowing dots on the fret marker so I can see through it in the dark. But all these little tiny little like journeyman rules all come back together, and I have to constantly be brushing up on it, because if you're not always playing this kind of music, it's going to go away. So I've been spending so much time with my guitar, knowing that there's a tour in the future.
I've got 2 more questions for you before we let you go. Number 1, what is your favorite episode that you created of Metalocalypse?
Oh, jeez. I have to say, okay, if it's one episode, it's a special, but I'd say the Doomstar Requiem is, to me, like, it was the kind of like, it departs from the show, but it maintains the integrity of the show. And I also get to do a lot of different styles of music. in that thing. So from like orchestral stuff to heavy songs to a 2-minute guitar solo in the middle of the whole thing. You know, I was like, you're not going to see this on TV where you just get that 2 minutes of instrumental guitar and storytelling at the same time. So to me, that was a fun challenge. It was very natural to do it. Metalocalypse is always like the narrative and the characters and the music are always like fighting. It's always hard to tame them all. That's the trick with a show like this, is how much can we tame and tell a story at the same time where it all works in concert together. And I think the Doomstar Requiem was that thing. Even though like the characters, even though it was a departure in style, making a musical,
Right.
Said, fuck it, we need to be able to do creative shit like this in this project because, and no one's asked me to do any of this stuff. I just am saying I'm excited by it. Who wants to come with me and go on this journey? So that's what I would say my answer to that is.
I love Doomstar Requiem. I think it's a great choice. And then my second question is, we always talk about our favorite albums. We just got done talking about our favorite albums from last year, just across the board. I know you're just a huge metal fan in general. What were some of your favorite albums from last year?
Oh, geez, from last year, I've been listening to Car Bomb, which is just ridiculous. Have you listened to them yet?
Yeah, I heard that one. It's good.
It's like, it's ridiculous. It's so technical. It's so difficult to count and to even wrap my mind around, but it's so energetic and so musical at the same time and so crazy. I'd have a heart attack in that band. The shit they're playing is so crazy, but I really enjoyed that. I went back to an old Gorguts album because I saw him live with Gene Hoglan when he played with Death to All. So I was like, Gorguts, wow. Yeah. I don't think I spent enough time with them. Oh, you know what? This is crazy, but I'd seen Opeth live and they were playing kind of slower songs and I'd listened to a couple records and I just didn't know what the right stuff was to listen to. Gene Hoglan made me an Opeth list of songs to listen to and I lost mind. I lost my mind. I'm so late to the table on Opeth, but boy, oh boy, how completely right up my alley is that stuff. It's so gorgeous. It's so creative and the guitar playing is so good. It's so evocative and thoughtful and so musical and so exciting. And I'm listening to stuff from like way back. So at some point, maybe I'll share Gene's Gorguts, or I'm sorry, his Opeth list. But I think I have another interview. I think right now, I'm not sure. I may have to jump off and do this. Let me see. Yeah, I think I've got to go, guys.
Right. Okay.
But for taking an interest, and it was really fun talking, and I hope to see you guys when we're in your area.
Yeah, you'll definitely see me in Houston, and I'm not sure where Christian's closest one will be.
Well, it'll be Waukee,
sure.
But unfortunately, they're owned by Ticketmaster, but I might just have to go anyway.
I hear you. I appreciate it. I'd love to see you there.
All right, I'll
All right, thanks, Brendon. We appreciate your time. Looking forward to whatever comes next.
Awesome.
Thanks.
I will see you later, and I don't know how to leave the session, but I will see you guys, and thank you very much.
All right, thank you.